Power Reggae Radio, PowerReggae.com. We back. Second interview for the night.
Yes, they told me.
You heard the music that we was just playing in the studio. The last three records, different feel to it. But I'm gonna introduce the artist right now, and we're gonna get into the. I got a lot of questions for you immediately from the sound of the music. But we're gonna introduce the man that we got in the studio right now, Jah Myhrakle. Introduce yourself for the listeners.
Yeah, greetings. Give thanks and praise unto the Most High Emperor, the Celestial the First, Yeah man, my name is Jah Myhrakle, J-A-H, spelled M-Y-H-R-A-K-L-E, Yeah man, as an artist, I'm doing the works, pushing the works. Do give thanks for having, the honor of the power of reggae to bring it forward here to, scope out the music said way,
Okay. We gonna get started. You lifted the energy back up in the room again. Once we went to the break and we started playing your music. Your music has a certain vibe to it. And from reading your bio, I kind of sense where that vibe comes from. But I will let the listeners decipher it for themselves. Jah Myhrakle, Jah Myhrakle, you heard the songs, the man is here. Where do you hail from?
Well, coming out of a country or a small jewel known to the world as Belize, Yeah.
And there we go. I'll be honest with you. Listening to your music during the break and before the interview today, listening to your music, I felt that vibe that you actually being yourself, but the music that you're bringing forward to the world represents where you come from in the feel of the music. Let's get into where Jah Myhrakle started as an artist and how you got into the music. What was your inspiration in the music?
Well, the origins of the music started in the womb, I always tell everybody this, It's a vibration that beats in the womb, and as the umbilical cord carries the message through the womb, so the youth receive it. My father was a musician, My mother was well active in the music field as well, so the origins of the music sprung forth from the womb, The inspiration as a youth growing up still, I could say, from my background was my father, Otherwise, growing up, coming in the pre-teens and in the teenage stage, I could say the influence of the power of reggae, throughout the world, artists such as Capleton, Sizzler, Bob Marley also, more ancient, brought forth certain message worldwide still, so we get certain influence from these ones. And I also have my brother of mine, Isa Char, still around here, also was an artist at the same time, doing the work, so still an artist still in his own way.
Okay, having a musical background from your parents and growing up in Belize, what type of music were your parents doing?
Well, if you listen to, the DNA strand don't change, The coupling of love, is the key tone of what reggae music is to the world, is to bring together, unify. My father at the time was more of a lover's rap, musician, singing music more for the ladies. And, like I said, the DNA strand don't change, the spiral is continuous, so if you could hear the music and listen to some of the lyrics inside the music, you will hear, we sing music, not to say love is limited just to females, but to spread the message, on a platform where love is directly, in this time, necessary to highlight, the balance, so I sing for the ladies. And I also sing for, the entire world that needs certain inspiration as well. So if you listen deeper, it's not just that type of message becoming, but the entire thing is love. you know.
Yes. Okay, now, Jah Myhrakle. Let's start with the moniker. Who bestowed the moniker on you? Or was it something that you came up with yourself? Was the name given to you by someone you were working with? Where did the moniker come from?
Well, as a youth, growing up, not one don't know these things still, and maybe it's right to present it as well, right here. I had an accident at a young age, 5 years old. The back bump off a Dodge pickup truck, took me by the head, ripped out my skull. I was in coma for a fairly long period of time, several months, more than 6 to speak, and doctors, family members, everybody was, in a sense that, or thought, because of the reports from the doctors, that I wouldn't make it, and even my father at one point thought even if I would have made it, it would have been a sorrowful thing to see me as a vegetable. However, I recope, with the grace of the Most High, life, heartbeat, blood and start pump. So recover after 8 months coma, and after the doctor brought forth the report, called my parents, my peoples, some people that in the family they shout out it was a miracle. So I just carry forward the things
Yes.
there,
Yes. So from
True.
5 years old,
Yeah,
the man, Jah Myhrakle.
True.
Okay, now your musical journey. You grew up in a musical background, but when did Jah Myhrakle's musical journey actually start? And I know you were doing mixtapes and stuff like that before you actually had a debut LP or EP, as to say. But when did your musical journey start?
I would say really the journey it started early, but recording music, and getting things done started around about the year 2001, 2002. Inspired, like I said, my brother Isa Char, and what inspired me also to write is the fact that I had to leave my country unwillingly because of war, A lot of people don't even know that, but I ain't going to go too deep in that. So, it was an inspiration from a different feel, and if you heard some of the music in the past, it was very aggressive. The tone was not so much like this that you hear now. So, it started around about 2001, 2002, and then we carry on for a while, but had to take a break still because several youths come on the way and had to maintain those things and, keep the balance still.
Alright, so you actually started your recording career after leaving Belize?
Yeah.
Okay, so before you actually left Belize, what was the reggae scene like in Belize? This is a Central American country. What was the reggae scene like, and what helped nurture Jah Myhrakle to become the recording artist he is today, growing up in that environment in Belize?
Reggae music at the time was more the feel of music for Belizeans at the time, especially from where I come from, the city. I grew up in the city. And we, like I said earlier, had enough of the ancient dancehall music, Shabba Rankin, all these different artists coming with the music. So amongst different, environment where you go and different venues, as a youth, we used to always be around different places as well. But these type of music were playing, So, like I said before, the influence of reggae in Belize was somewhat centralized in Belize city. And as a city boy, we hear a lot of Sizzler, hear a lot of Capleton, a lot of, Barry Summers, them different ones still, but Bounty Killer and all them different things they in and different regions where I live, was the heavier force, was coming forceful.
Okay, so growing up in Belize, you still were exposed to a lot of the dancehall from what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So you grew up listening to the dancehall music. As far as the city, the dances, Belize is majority is Spanish speaking country, correct?
I won't say majority Spanish speaking country. We have 7 different dialects in the country. Spanish is, I would say, maybe secondary, you know.
So English is primary in Belize.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had the influence of the reggae music. Were you actually going to the studio, maybe recording any type of mixtapes, any type of tracks in Belize at that time?
Not at all, like I said before, you know. Started mostly, you know, in 2001 to 2002 when I left Belize, you know what I mean, in America itself, New York itself. So I didn't do no recording in Belize, you know. I didn't even had no idea. Actually, I was an engineer student at the same time, you know, and I didn't even thought about dealing with music really on that level. I used to sing people music, yeah, have the vibe in me, but at the same time, it was more like school and basketball. I was a basketball player at the time, so music wasn't even a thing to say I'm gonna record some tracks. It was just singing people music.
Okay, so what we gonna do now? We gonna segue into one Jah Myhracle's tracks. Johnny, you ready? Line up that Nah Give Up for me. I'm saying line up that track. We gonna get into the music. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move into your migration from Belize to New York, your beginning as an artist once you came to the city. What was the transition like, and what helped you as an artist start putting out that music?
Maybe sad to say that certain tribulation that I faced in my country as an individual out of the ghetto, certain wars, certain scars, you know, certain things inspire certain songs, which was one of my more prominent ones them at that time, Hammer Them Down. Even though it was talking mostly to a system, you know, it was a vibe that was inspired from certain things, you know, so the music, I would say sadly to say, was inspired through certain things, but we revolved to a new thing, which is, you know, to know the Most High Emperor Selassie and contain love, you know, and spread the message of love, inspiration, and them things.
Okay, that's where you evolved to as an artist, but still going back to the beginning, you mentioned the Hammer Them Down, that track. I believe that track became an entire mixtape that you did.
True.
From establishing yourself as an artist with that mixtape, you were able to connect with certain Belizean people in the city and start your musical journey. Tell us a little bit more of, once you came to New York, you stepped into the studio, you started recording. Where was that able to take your career, and what type of feedback did you have from the militant music you were doing at that time?
Well, I said to say, you know, certain ones run about who wasn't aware of the potential of music, you know, gave a great feedback, but on a wide scope. It wasn't, you know, people received the music, but many ones thought it was aggressive. So I would say, you know, even though it was received, some may have thought it was not, you know, ready at the time. So that was also an inspiration, you know, when you have critics where, you know, honestly gonna speak how their heart feel about certain things. You know, I've heard, you know, even certain artists, grand artists, you know, express to me like, yo, you gotta tone it down, that not work, you know, so All them, you know what someone might think as negative is positive, right? I take it as a positive thing to, revolve and, round up the thing.
Okay, from everything that you've told me so far, it seems that once you started recording your music, you were an artist that was self-contained a lot. As far as the production and the rhythms that you were able to put together for the Hammer Them Down project, pardon me. Where did that come from?
Well, that was a project that was unofficial, and no,
So you were using rhythms that were released already and okay.
true.
Okay, that's a good way for artists also
Yeah.
to introduce
There were
themselves to the
there
masses.
was two rhythms, sorry to cut you off. There was two rhythms that was original rhythms, but they were not really registered anyway. They were not,
So
official.
who was it that was working with you at that time that was giving you original rhythms?
I was working with a brother of mine, called David at the time, called Fifth Element. Not the Fifth Element that you know work with Richard Spice, but Fifth Element, David. So underground engineer, producer. He had actually built one of the original rhythms. So we just work accordingly, and once we have the talent around us, we utilize that. However, maybe at the time it was not enough for the vibrancy of my inner ability, so I had to reach out to whatever was inspiring me, and the mainstream really more inspirational.
Okay. You moved on from that project. You also did another project a couple of years later entitled End the Days.
True. You do your homework, man. I like that.
Okay, now, what was that period? It was a couple of years in between projects.
True.
As an artist, what was the growth and what was the transition from the first project to the second project like for Jah Myhrakle, the artist?
Yeah, End of Days came forward with a more, rhythmic flow, a more, smoother vibration, even though you have one or two tracks on there that still, which was inspirational as well, was, faster, and a couple of the older rhythms, also industrial rhythms, so it also was like an unofficial project as well. It was received a little bit better from, or a little on a wider scale from those who were at least tuned in at the time of Hammer Them Down. People say saw the improvement, and we got encouragement from ones wrong and wrong. So we just hold the vibes and keep it up.
All right, would you say, now I'm gonna ask you a little bit more of a personal question now. Would you say moving from the country of Belize to America and changing your lifestyle as far as the strife you were going through in Belize and moving to America, maybe it was a little bit more easier for you in America. Did that help your teachings as a Rastafarian and soften your stance on certain things, and did that reflect in your music moving forward?
You could probably say it had some type of influence on the moving forward of the music, because even though I was not eating meat before I left Belize, I had locks on my head, even as a vegan at the time. I still wasn't fully into Rastafari movement. I know of, and had knowledge around it, but there wasn't the abundance of resource where knowledge is concerned. And by coming to America, especially New York, where it's like an estuary for the cultures to come together, you get more diversity in the knowledge. So you get more than what you would get in what they call a third world country. So you grow as you increase your knowledge, and as a person I love to read, I like to play chess, so these are my focus, growing.
And once again, the root of the question, do you think that it had an influence over your music as well?
Like I said, yeah, I
Okay.
do believe so.
Okay, so now you formally trained yourself with the two unofficial projects, but in 2016 you released your official debut as an artist. Now you stepped away for a while. You mentioned it earlier, honing your family, growing into you a family man. So you stepped away for a while. You came back to the music. Once you re-immersed yourself into the music, once again after taking a break, what do you think again, becoming a family man, influenced your music in 2016? And what is the difference with Jah Myhrakle from the first two projects to the debut release that the listeners can visibly pick up when they listen to the music?
I'm gonna move on to a new life, you know. I was, yeah, Bobo Rems brought forth a rhythm one time.
Big up Bobo Runs.
Yeah.
Yes.
At Fayaki Studio, which is Isa Char Studio at the time, and that gave, you know, a revived feeling in the music. I actually brought forth a track called, which is not recorded really, called In Our Garden. And moments after that, down the line, you know, my brother transcended to a different dimension, you know, so he was with I at the time constructing Golden Arc Studio at the time, which is a studio, I would say, you know, owned by Jah Myhrakle myself, you know. He inspired, you know, a certain vibration, and while building this studio and all this, there were so many plans and so many things. Like I say, it's difficult to plan, and you can't plan things really because you just go a certain direction and unexpected. But the inspiration what we had and that momentum that he was building with her at the time, and just move off to a different life, you know. Give her a different inspiration to say I have to go harder, you know.
Okay, so you stepped into 2016, you decided to release your debut album. Now the music that we've been playing tonight, is that off of this project that we're about to speak about now?
Yeah, well, honestly, I must pinpoint, it's not a project right now we're pushing. An EP will be released in the further future, but right. So, like I said, the track you just played previously, Now I Give Up, you know. That was an inspiration through, you know, the same momentum and same energies that was, you know, in the fields at that time, while, you know, the brother move on, you know.
Okay, so
Condolences on that as well.
Yeah, man, good time.
yes. So from what I'm gathering, with the music that you're currently releasing now, you're releasing each project as a single.
Yeah, each track is a single.
Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna move on to another track that you have.
True.
The graffiti track. Is that currently out now?
Well, just put it up still, you know. You can find it on Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, the entire universe. It's out. It's actually out.
Okay, so it's out, it's fresh out. You're gonna hear a fresh track now from Jah Myhrakle entitled Graffiti. Power Reggae Radio, powerreggae.com. When we come back and we're gonna discuss the track a little bit more. But we're gonna get into it right now. Jah Myhrakle, Graffiti. Radio, Power Reggae Radio, PowerReggae.com. 2 new singles from Jah Myhrakle. First one titled Graffiti, second one On My Mind. Tell us a little bit more. Let's delve a little bit more into the sound, Jah Myhrakle's sound. So tell us a little bit more of those last 2 tracks that we just played, and the rollout that you have planned for those singles.
Well, release On My Mind with Genius Mental out of South Africa, you know. The track we did a video for, so you could find it on YouTube. We're pushing that track right now, and besides that, you know, the graffiti, like I said, it's just recently, you know, just yesterday as a matter of fact, when they put it out.
Exclusive.
Yeah, so I just put it out. I tried, you know, it's kind of skeptical if I was supposed to even put it out, you know. But yeah, brother said, yeah, just go ahead and push it. And you know, from furthermore, I just want to, I should or might not have permission on my own, but I just like to open a little bit of the unknown for some of the people when I know. Golden just recently, you know, signed a contract with VP, you know what I mean?
Nice.
Distribution deal, so.
Nice.
That's gonna propel not only myself, Jah Myhrakle, but you know, artists that around, you know, who are out there around the camp.
Okay. Before you get a chance to talk about the camp as well, tell us a little bit more of, since you have been able as an artist to establish yourself in New York, what has been the feedback like in Belize for you as an artist?
Honestly, I think I get a more stronger feedback from this side of the world. Belize, reggae music, like I say, is mostly a thing in the city. It's all over still, and it's being spread more. But I don't think I get a high, you know, response, or you know, the feedback is a little bit different there still.
Have you been able to travel back to Belize and actually do music there?
Nah, I should say no.
So that's the reason
In a
why.
nutshell.
That's the reason why. I was trying to figure out what was the reason this good music wasn't being played. And now I understand why.
It's building still, it's building, because what is new now is a different song, so some people could more relate to what is new, so it's building.
Yes.
I have confidence in that.
Okay, now, before we go live on this interview for the listeners, you have a project that you released, I believe it was last year, The Keeper of Time.
Yeah.
Is that available online now for the listeners as well?
Well, it was available. I'm actually pull it down. We're going to put that back up. We have to make some adjustments to that, where certain rights are also concerned. Well, we had all legality for everything, but you know, we still just try to, you know, pull back certain things out of that entire project there, and we're going to put that back out for purchase online again still.
Okay, so look out for the relaunch of The Keeper of Time.
Yeah.
Look out for the new singles that's out now on the road. Graffiti officially released this week. On My Mind is out there. Now Give Up is out there. God Eye is out there. On social media, where can the listeners go to find Jah Myhrakle?
Well, I'm prominently on Facebook. You can find me at Jah Myhrakle, like I said before, JahMyhrakle. You could also find my website, jahmyhrakle.com. I'm on Instagram as well, and Twitter, same thing, Jah Myhrakle, JahMyhrakle. You know.
Okay.
On Instagram, Jah_Miracle.
Yeah.
Underscore Miracle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good observation. Give thanks.
Also the videos out on YouTube. What's the official videos that you have now available on YouTube?
Well, official videos, you find quite a few of them. One is, which is a promotional video, but it's still official because everything is official on the Most High site, you know. I also have Warrior and what you call On My Mind. And we're working on Not Give Up right now because the world is facing so much tribulation and things. It's a song for the time. So we're gonna do a video for the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you to the artist, Jah Myhrakle. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna run it with it for you. Let you roll out for the listeners. You could tune the listeners out and give a shout out to whoever you feel at this point in time should receive a shout out from Jah Myhrakle. TGM Radio, Power Reggae Radio, PowerReggae.com.
Yeah, man, give thanks and praise unto the Most High, first for life, first of all. Yeah, man, big up all your listeners out there, you know. Up for them bright, power of reggae, give it up for them bright, POR. The Father Congo, Bongo Congo. It's Jah Myhrakle! And all you lovely people out there who are tuning. I know it's more than about 100 out there tuning. Give thanks for tuning in. And all the other followers from Power of Reggae too. Awful and bright. All my family members. Mama. All the youths them. Give it up for them bright. I say, sitting in the throne in Ethiopia. Sitting in the throne in Ethiopia. Sitting in the throne in Addis Ababa. Sitting in the throne forever. Conquering Lion of Judah. Sitting in the throne in Ethiopia. Sitting in the throne in Addis Ababa. Sitting in the throne forever. Rastafari rule the heart. He rule the heart. Rastafari rule the scepter. Entire universal structure. Up in the imposter. Could never rupture. Everyone try transverse the scripture. Just to capture in a this area. They might get to you. They might get Rastafari. I listen to see a life I sing. Sitting in the throne in Ethiopia. Throne in Addis Ababa. Throne forever. Conquering Lion of Judah. I say, sitting in the throne in Ethiopia. Sitting in the throne in Addis Ababa. I listen to see I crown him. I listen to see I adore him. Many nations bow down before. These things you can't ignore. Yo, the written and it must come to pass. Up in and they burn out to ash. Evil men, all of them have to take a flash. I tell you, saying who? Sitting in the throne in Ethiopia, who? Sitting in the throne in Addis Ababa, who? Sitting in the throne forever. I said, I'm a warrior for a worthy cause. Tell Babylon never pick up a pass now. I'm a warrior for a worthy cause. Tell me why you are. Tell me who you are. What is it you aim? What is in your field? Is it for a worthy cause? For the wealth? Them playing leapfrog warriors above them scale. Them in a body but work this up the ambulance. One by one them all of them go get tagged. Sitting in the throne in Ethiopia. Sitting in the throne in Addis Ababa. Give it right, give it up for them right. It's the power of reggae. POR, give it up for them right. Rastafari rule the ring out of our flesh. It's Jah Myhrakle. People said that Bongo Bongo. Father Chairman, up for them right. Run the next really good one.
No.
Send it home. But it though.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, man. Bop, bop, bop,
TGM
bop,
Radio,
bop, bop,
Power
bop,
Reggae,
bop,
Radio,
bop.
PowerReggae.com. Jah Myhrakle.
Yeah, man.
He wanted another with him, but I guess Johnny got to go to the commercial. So what we're gonna do at this time, any shout outs you want to give, anyone who helped you along your way in your musical journey, this is the time. Power Reggae Radio, PowerReggae.com.
Yeah, man. I want to give thanks and praise, and I want it always to be known to the Most High Emperor Celestia, the first of all for life, you know. Give thanks for all the ones them who bring forth their efforts and energies. There's so many names, you know, right now we can't bottle them and spit them out. But all you all know yourself, you know what I mean? Just know yourself. Give thanks for the strength, give thanks for the energy putting forward. So right now we're bringing forth a Jah Myhrakle brand still, but we don't want to focus on self, you know. But right now we have to market the thing certain way. So we have a Jah Myhrakle brand right now coming out in a few months. We should see some garments and things coming forward. So we're working on certain things. So I want to say shout out to the people up in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, all the people out in Guyana, all the people out there in Trinidad, all the people out there in China, all the people out there in France and Germany. You know them places there. A lot of people reach out to and them reach out to us. So we do give thanks and those people right here in New York, and for right now and the moment, give thanks for power of reggae for this moment, you know. So
Yes.
big up all the ones there.
Bop, bop.
Respect.
Yeah.
TGM Radio, Power Reggae Radio, PowerReggae.com.